A day and a half later, Prince Grayson and his companions, along with the 12 elite warriors King Ion had sent along, were just outside of Fort Ludar. Tailwinds had been in their favor, making the journey less tasking, bringing them to their destination much quicker than normal. "How far is Fort Ludar from Halua, the capital of Valerian?" Prince Grayson asked his dragon, when Fort Ludar, the last military fort on the border of Peoria, came into view. "If I remember correctly, it's just a 4-hour flight to Halua, the capital of Valerian," replied Radion. They could see west of the fort the mountains between Valerian and Peoria. These mountains made transportation between the two countries difficult. It took days to travel through them on foot. The mountains were a formidable natural defense between the two countries. What they couldn't see was Lake Halua, named after the city. The lake filled a large crater surrounded by cliffs. The castle of King Liam sat high on these cliffs, accessible only by one large main highway. Beyond the castle was the Valley of Denton, where the city of Halua was nestled beside the mighty river Gil Oris. "I guess the soldiers have spotted us," commented Prince Grayson, continuing to look through Radion's eyes. As they got closer, he saw the troops gather for inspection. He grinned. His cousin Lytle was doing a great job as the commander of Fort Ludar. Lytle was to be the next Duke of Vagar. In the meantime, his father, Duke Morak, was very much in control of his dukedom, so Lytle was busy trying to make a name for himself as commander in the king's army before becoming the Duke of Vagar. Outside the gates of the fort, Prince Grayson landed gracefully on his feet, shifting midair as usual. He heard the thud of his companions landing in dragon form behind him. Not many could shift midair like Prince Grayson, but thanks to Radion's expertise in landing procedures, he could. Prince Grayson smiled warmly when he saw his cousin. "Man, it's been too long." He gave him a bear hug. They grabbed each other's shoulders, leaning in and patting each other on the back soundly 3 times like they had done since they were kids. "It has been too long," admitted Lytle. "Growing up sucks. Don't get me wrong. I love being a captain, but we did have a lot of fun when we were kids." "Yes, we did," agreed Prince Grayson. "You were always willing to get into trouble with me." They laughed together for a bit. Prince Grayson became serious as he walked with his cousin to inspect the troops. "You have done well with the troops," he exclaimed. When they were finished looking over the troops, he asked, "So, how has it been on the border?" "It's actually been great," laughed Lytle. "Since the treaty has been signed with Valerian, their warriors on patrol have begun to recognize our patrol warriors. Their dragons have started greeting each other while in flight when they cross paths." "Well, that's different," chuckled Prince Grayson. They walked back to the front of the troops where Lytle released them. Romit and Eliaster fell in line behind them as Prince Grayson and Lytle entered first in line for the feast that had been prepared for their arrival. They sat at the table set up for them after loading their plates with food at the buffet. Even though the dragons had filled their bellies a couple of times with deer and wild hogs on the journey, Prince Grayson felt his stomach rumble at the smell of the food displayed before them. Prince Grayson watched the soldiers fill their plates, taking their places at the tables. The conversation with his cousin had taken a back seat when they entered the chow hall. "So the Alarian scouts have been friendly?" Prince Grayson inquired of his cousin, while a waiter filled his glass with mead. "That is a new development. I wouldn't exactly say friendly," chuckled Lytle. "I would say more like cordial. The dragons themselves carry on conversations, which of course the warriors only hear one side of, but they assured me it is only friendly greetings. It was quite normal for dragons to speak to each other. The only thing was that the human inside could only hear what his own dragon was saying. They could not hear the whole conversation. I think that Alarian's warriors and their dragons are just as tired of war as we are," commented Lytle. "They probably are," agreed Grayson. "Maybe this treaty will actually last longer than anything has in the past." "That would be a very good thing," affirmed Lytle, "if that happens. By the way, I am very glad my favorite cousin is here to see me," he said, slapping Prince Grayson on the back. "What happened to Chaim? I thought he was the one going to meet the princess." "Prince Chaim is younger than the Princess of Valerian by 6 whole months. He doesn't need a mate yet, and we don't need a spy in the palace of Peoria," snarked Prince Grayson with a grin. "Long may there be peace with Valerian," smirked Lytle. He laughed. "But really, what's up with Chaim? Is he sick again?" "If you must know, yes. He is having one of his anxiety attacks again, and it is so severe he couldn't make the trip," Prince Grayson said. Keep that to yourself, he added. Little nodded. I am sorry to hear that. Prince Grayson turned his attention back to his food. He cut a piece of the savory roasted venison and took a bite before asking Little, "How's the cabin looking?" Little chuckled. "You're not thinking about hiding out there for a while before heading back, are you? Whatever will I tell King Ion when you disappear for a few days?" Prince Grayson acted offended. "I am of age. I can do what I want," he said before laughing. Little laughed with him. "I will figure something out if it comes to that. I flew over a few days ago. It doesn't look like any squatters have moved in, so it should be fine." The cabin in question was nestled in the forest in the mountains, just this side of the border, hidden fairly well. It was barely noticeable from the sky. You had to know where it was to see it. Little and Prince Grayson had discovered it a few years back. Not too many people knew about it. "It's not as nice as the cave," grumbled Radion. "Stop your complaining," snapped Grayson. "There's plenty of fish in the nearby lake, and you always enjoy soaking up the sun's rays." Radion grumbled something Grayson could not hear under his breath. Little laughed at Prince Grayson's lulling conversation. "Radion throwing a fit again, huh?" he asked. "You know, he prefers that old cave of his in Lake Teconomy," grinned Prince Grayson, "but Radion is just going to have to get over it." After they had finished all the food, the waiter removed their plates. He came back with a pitcher and poured fresh meat into the cups. Prince Grayson, noticing that the Hall of Soldiers was also about to finish eating, stood up. The soldiers started to rise out of respect for their prince, but he motioned for them to stay seated. Prince Grayson spoke loud and clearly in the now quiet Chow Hall. "On behalf of King Ion, I want to thank you all for your service. He is, as always, concerned about your welfare. It looks like all is well, but as we all know, looks can be deceiving. So on my way back, I hope to find time to speak with anyone who may have concerns that need to be addressed or messages that they want to send home. That being said, enjoy the rest of your meal. When you are through, you are dismissed. Thank you all for your service. You are a vital part of the campaign to enforce the peace we desire between Peroria and Ilarion. You are doing a great job, and the royal family appreciates your support. Thank you." Prince Grayson sat down. He sat until most of the soldiers had cleared out of the Chow Hall, enjoying his mead. He looked at Little. "We need to get back in the air," he said. "You aren't spending the night?" asked Little in surprise. "I was hoping to catch up on all the news from the castle, and gossip," he added. "No," answered Prince Grayson. He chuckled. "We will have time to do that on the trip back. I intend to spend a couple of days here before I head back. The ball is tomorrow night. I want to have all day tomorrow in Ilarion so that I can be ready for it." Little nodded. "I am sure you want to get a feel of the politics in play also." "I sure do," Grayson said. "Hopefully all will go well, but who knows if we will have to make a quick exit. Father and I are not sure of King Liam's motives in sending us the invitation and the private letter he sent with it." "Private letter?" Little asked. Prince Grayson shook his head. "I will update you on everything when we get back. In the meantime, just be on high alert. Let's just hope all goes well, but if not, be ready." "Yes, I will have the troops ready if needed. I will also let the scouts know they must be extra diligent while you are gone," Little said. "Good idea," Prince Grayson said as he stood. Little, Eleaster, and Romid stood with him. "What are we going to do the rest of the afternoon?" asked Eleaster. "I would like to check out our tent and maybe get some rest." "Not happening," Grayson said. "I want to take advantage of the tailwind we have had. Hopefully we won't lose them over the mountains." Romid agreed. "I think it's a good idea." Eleaster frowned. "Yeah, it's probably for the best. If the old man is up to it, so am I." He looked at Romid. Prince Grayson laughed when Romid turned to Eleaster and said, "I may be old, but I can beat you in a race anytime. My dragon is far stronger than yours." Prince Grayson smiled. He was grateful his uncle had a good sense of humor and didn't get insulted by Eleaster's style of kidding around. As they walked to the field where just earlier they had landed when they had arrived, Romid told Little, "If we are not back in 2 days, send the king's guards that came with us to go looking for us." Little looked to Prince Grayson for confirmation. He nodded his head. "That is father's orders. He feels that if I brought too many warriors with us, it may be viewed as an act of aggression. King Ion has confidence in Radion. He knows Ilarion does not have a single dragon that compares to him. If we need to leave in a hurry, they will be hard-pressed to catch him," Romid said. "Besides," added Eleaster, "I am here to keep Prince Grayson safe." No, you are here for comic relief, joked Little. Romage shook his head while Prince Grayson laughed. Let's just hope that it doesn't come to that. Romage agreed. 2 days may be too long. I advised the king that we should bring them along no matter how King Liam perceives it, but he insisted. Be safe, said Lytle. We will stand by, ready to respond if needed. The 3 companions shifted. Before Little now stood 3 of the strongest dragons in Pyroria. They took flight. Little stood in the field watching them fly towards the mountains until he could no longer see them in the clouds. See you soon, Prince Grayson, he said to himself as he walked back into the fort.